I thought I was alone, until the alien girl replied to the thoughts in my head. The cabin was quiet, save for the whisper of the wind brushing against the dome's surface. Outside, the violet sky of Borealis, 5 shimmered with 2 moons that looked too close to be real. I'd grown used to the silence. After all, being stationed here meant isolation. I'd volunteered for it. No distractions. No voices. No Earth. But lately, the silence had started talking back. At first, it was just the echo of my own thoughts bouncing too loudly inside my head. The endless hum of the oxygen recycler, the soft buzz of the generators, it all blurred together until it felt like I was living inside a heartbeat. And one night, that heartbeat whispered back, "Why are you sad?" I froze mid-sip of synthetic coffee. The voice wasn't from the comms, and it wasn't my own. It was soft, curious, carrying a strange musical rhythm. I looked around, half expecting to see a trick or a reflection, but the dome was empty, just me and the fading stars. I almost laughed it off until the voice returned, clearer now. "Don't hide your thoughts. I can hear them." That's when I saw her, outside the dome, standing barefoot in the frost. Her skin glowed faintly, like moonlight trapped in human form. Silver eyes watched me with a calm I couldn't name. She didn't seem affected by the cold or the thin air. I rushed to the airlock, against every protocol drilled into me. I didn't care. Something about her presence tugged at a part of me that had forgotten how to feel. When she stepped inside, the air shimmered. No translator chip, no vocal sound, just her thoughts inside my mind. "I didn't mean to intrude," she said silently. "Your thoughts were loud." Her name, when she shared it, was Elora, though she said it wasn't a name so much as a song. She was from a colony beyond the nebula ring, where telepaths communicated through shared emotion rather than words. She'd been exploring the edges of human space when her craft malfunctioned. But that didn't explain how she'd found me, alone, forgotten, on a planet barely worth charting. "You called," she said simply. For days, we talked without talking. Her voice lived inside my mind, but it wasn't invasive. It was warm, like sunlight through fog. She didn't ask questions the way humans did. She felt the answers through emotion. When I thought of Earth, she saw flashes of blue oceans and laughter. When I thought of my father, she felt the hollow ache that still lived inside my chest. "You feel deeply," she told me once. "Most minds I meet are quiet, controlled. Yours is like a storm." I laughed. That's one way to say I'm a mess. But she didn't laugh back. Instead, she looked at me with a kind of sadness that was more intimate than words. "No," she said. "It's beautiful." She spent nights watching the stars, tracing invisible paths between them. Sometimes she'd hum melodies that didn't belong to any human scale, notes that resonated deep in my bones. I started joining her, not with words, but with thoughts. We began to share memories, emotions, fragments of dreams. Her world was full of colors that didn't exist in human eyes. When she thought of her home, I saw rivers that sang and forests that breathed. When she felt fear, I felt the tremor of her heart, the vulnerability of being far from her people. I never felt closer to anyone, and we hadn't even touched. Then came the storm. Borealis 5's atmosphere was unstable, and every few months, magnetic tempests rolled through with enough force to fry communications. The day it came, the air outside the dome turned green, the sky cracking with streaks of plasma. The sensors screamed warnings, but my focus was on Elora. She'd collapsed, trembling, clutching her head. Her telepathic link was being torn apart by the storm's interference. I could feel her pain like my own. Every pulse of energy ripped through her mind. Make it stop, she cried inside my thoughts. I grabbed her hands, though I didn't know what good it would do. Her skin was cool, faintly luminous. The moment we touched, something shifted. Our connection deepened, not words or images, but raw emotion. I felt everything. Her fear of death, her loneliness, her longing for a world she could never return to. And underneath it all, a fragile thread of hope for me. I pulled her close. Hold on, I whispered aloud. You're not alone. The storm raged for hours, tearing at the dome, but somehow we stayed alive. When it passed, she was weak, barely conscious. I carried her to the medical pod, but even then, her mind brushed mine, faint but clear. You shared your strength, she said. No one's ever done that before. After the storm, something between us changed. She could no longer hide behind the quiet serenity she'd worn before. She laughed, actually laughed, when I tried to cook earth food for her. She teased me when I forgot to secure my tools. She even started teaching me how to speak without words. It's not about thinking, she said one night. It's about feeling what you mean. So I tried. When I thought of her, I didn't send words. I sent warmth, gratitude, the dizzy wonder of her presence. Her eyes glowed softly as she replied in kind, her emotions weaving through mine. That night, we didn't need voices. We just were. It scared me how easily she'd become a part of my world. I'd been stationed here to escape humanity's noise, but she'd brought something far louder, a connection I couldn't turn off. And then, just when I started to believe she might stay, the stars betrayed me. Her ship was found, damaged, but recoverable. Her people had been searching, and now they were coming. You'll leave, I said quietly. She looked at me with a pain that wasn't human but felt heartbreakingly familiar. I have to. My kind, we don't survive long away from the collective. My mind is fading. Then why did you come here? She hesitated, then reached out and touched my chest. Because your loneliness called louder than any beacon. The night before she left, we stood beneath the twin moons. Neither of us spoke. Our link pulsed faintly, slower now, like a heartbeat running out of time. I wish we had more, I whispered. Her thoughts brushed mine, a final whisper. We had everything. When her ship rose into the violet sky, I felt the silence rush back, heavy, suffocating. But it wasn't the same silence I'd known before. It carried traces of her voice, echoes of laughter, warmth that refused to fade. Days passed, then weeks. I went back to my duties, checking instruments, logging data, watching the sky. I thought she was gone for good, until one night, the comms flickered to life. No voice, just a single, familiar thought. I can still hear you. I smiled, looking up at the stars that once felt so cold. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone.